cells are not isolated little worlds. They do have a lot going on inside them, but they also need to interact with their environment. It makes sense that to keep a stable environment inside themselves, otherwise known as keeping homeostasis, they must have some control on what goes in and what goes out of them. A very important structure for this that all cells contain is the cell membrane. By controlling what goes in and out, the cell membrane helps regulate homeostasis. It's the homeostasis king. Let's take a look at the cell membrane. You could have a whole course on the cell membrane itself. It has amazing structure. It has signaling abilities. But to stick to the very basics, it's made of a phospholipid bilayer. Bilayer means two layers, so you have these two layers of lipids. Now, these lipids, they're called phospholipids, well, they have a head that is polar, and they have a tail that is nonpolar, making them quite unique.
The plasma membrane is made up of several organic molecules. I will concentrate on two of them in this presentation. The first molecule is a lipid. It is called a phospholipid because instead of the usual 3 fatty acid chains, there are only 2. The third bonding position is with a phosphate group. The phospholipid molecule is divided into a head region and a tail region. The head region is the glycerol and phosphate group. The tail region is the fatty acid chains. The head is hydrophilic, attracted to water. The tail is hydrophobic, repelled by water. It is this property which allows for the unique molecular alignment that makes the plasma membrane. The currently accepted model of the cell membrane was developed by Singer and Nicholson in 1972 at the University of California, San Diego. Pictured here, the plasma membrane looks like a sea of lipid with icebergs floating in it. The membrane is very flexible and has a fluid motion. This design of the plasma membrane is called the fluid mosaic model.
Between the living machinery of the inner cell and the harsh conditions of the outside world stands the cell's plasma membrane. As crucial as this barrier is, it's surprisingly flexible. Push it and watch it move. Poke hard enough and it might break and begin to regroup. The lipid molecules of the membrane naturally assemble in a double layer because their tails repel water as their heads attract it. Throw in some cholesterol and a few carbohydrates, and you have the basic structure of a plasma membrane. Within these lipid molecules, we also find different proteins which do various things for the cell. So nature composes the membrane with a combination or mosaic of different lipids, carbohydrates, and proteins. And these molecules are not stationary. They constantly move within the structure, fluidly changing their positions. The survival of all life rests on this veil of material. A supple membrane just 2 molecules thick.